The Rambling Geordie.
One of the many frustrating things about the left is their complete inability to see things that are right in front of their eyes, normally when it's inconvenient to their own worldviews. Now, whenever there's a mention on the news or social media about a native person committing a sexual crime, the first thing the left do is roll out the tired and beaten corpse of, "Where are all of the white British patriots now? Where are the protests in the street to look up this white British man? Shouldn't there be calls to have him deported?" It's beyond frustrating to have to try and justify to these brain-dead morons that native sex crimes aren't something that are ignored by the public, or that they're somehow justified because the perpetrator is a native Brit. Now, the left knows that nobody tolerates sex crimes in this country. However, that never stops them from trying to score some much-needed virtue points from their fellow sycophants by claiming that natives only care about the actions of foreigners or people with a different skin shade. It's just dishonest from the left. In fact, it's fucking sick. They use this argument not just to call out a lack of, as they see it, accountability for native sex pests from the non-left, but quite literally as an excuse to temper down anyone calling out foreign-born nonces, pedos and rapists. You never hear the left call for the removal of foreign sex attackers. You never hear the left calling for foreign criminals to be deported. And why is that? Are they okay with letting masses of foreigners commit heinous crimes in our country? Well, actually, I'd argue that they are. Let me show you an example of what native Brits do when they find out there's a sex offender living in their area. So this is a tweet from Marlon S. West, a man accused of raping a child, which occurred today in Tameside. As a community, we are committed to condemning our own individuals involved in such disgusting crimes. Do other communities do this? Well, I think you already know the answer. My point is that this kind of thing was and still is the norm in this country. Everyone has seen a house like this during their life, and anyone who says they haven't have either lived a very sheltered upbringing or are a fucking liar. We natives call this shit out. We always have and we always will. There's WhatsApp groups, apps, Facebook groups and unnumbered YouTube channels dedicated to calling out and prosecuting these sick bastards. Not sure that I can say the same for foreign communities though. I doubt they have the same due diligence as when it comes to calling out members of their own communities though. They wouldn't want to air their dirty linen in public now, would they? I can tell you right now why the left will cry foul at a white man committing a sexual assault and stay oddly quiet when it's a foreigner. And it comes down to one word: racism. It really is that simple. The left cannot and will not allow themselves to be dragged into the arena of racism unless they themselves are the ones hurling the accusations, but certainly not amongst themselves though. They cannot be seen to be calling out non-white folk for savagery. What would their voting base say? No, what you do is, you call out native crime as a given, fully condemn the individual and the community that he's from, and even call him out for his skin colour. When it's a foreigner though, well, you put out a statement condemning the individual only, never mention his skin colour, and call it a misogynistic crime fuelled by patriarchal cultures allowed by a failure in the asylum process, as if it's just a single case that has slipped through the net. The mental gymnastics is astounding. Let me tell you exactly why the non-left in this country may seem to care more about foreign criminals in this country. They seem to care more because we can't call for natives to be deported. They seem to care more because we can actually cut the number of sex attacks in this country overnight by denying entry and deporting anyone in this country who was guilty or has been in the past of carrying out any sort of criminal actions. They seem to care more because it's very inconvenient to the left and their policies concerning immigration, by highlighting just how bad they really are for this country. And we can't have that now, can we? For the left to join the rest of the country and call out these foreign-born criminals would be absolutely disastrous for them. It would highlight that, actually, We don't need to take a chance with the lives of millions of women and girls by importing thousands of foreign menaces into our shore, or to put the very heart and soul of this wonderful nation through the ringer in order to pander to cultures that are completely incompatible with our own. We don't need them, and we certainly don't want them. We have enough criminals of our own, thank you very much, and believe me when I say, if we could deport them as well, we certainly would. If you enjoyed that video, please think about subscribing to the channel, leave a like if you liked it, and I'll catch you all later. Cheers.
Don't be daft, man.